Hey, what's up, everybody? Show this thing to you guys again, but this time I'm going to show it to you opened up, including one of the controllers, so you can see how amazingly well built they are. Ish. For anybody who watched my last video, if you haven't watched my last video, I give this a lot of praise, just like they did for the English language. And I kind of went a bit bigly on the size of the freaking main board. I'd only opened this up once just to glance at it, and I'd forgotten that, nope, it doesn't go all the way to the corner. It's off to one side a little bit, kind of lined up with the ports on the back. It's like way smaller. I'm assuming it's a 2x2 inch board. It's little. And then you got all the wires and stuff coming up off of that for your two controller ports, which those are just plugged into it. There's no circuit board for them. It's just port 1, port 2. That's why I was able to swap them over easy, because they were backwards for player 1 and player 2. And then the only other circuit board in the system is on the top half that has your power switch reset and your power light. Otherwise, man, really freaking basic. It takes just a couple minutes just to take it apart. I mean, it's really freaking basic. To put in a ROTFF board, once you got the thing, then you'd have to just look it over and see if you got to do any grinding on it or what to make everything fit, but it could definitely be done. I'm pretty sure of that. On the controllers, same thing. They're just real basic. So pretty much the plastic's good that they used. It's not flimsy. It's just really basic on how it's made. And on the main chips, controller and system, they've got them covered with the usual blob of black whatever type glue, so you can't modify it at all. So anyways, here it is. WENDEBAO! Hey! I gotta look that freaking word up, man. It's just eating away at my brain. What the freaking hell does that mean? Actually, I'm going to show you guys the controller first. All I did was take the screws out of each thing just to take the covers off. The controller, the circuit board's only held in by one freaking tiny screw and a couple of little pegs to just help line it up. So be careful if you guys take one of these things apart, man. You don't want to break off those little pegs, or it can get out of adjustment there to where your buttons will quit working for the main ones. Otherwise, this one, 5 screws to the back. Looks like a Super Nintendo-ish controller until you open it up. It's definitely not made as good, other than just, like I said, man, it's pretty thick plastic there. A lot of these, you can just squeeze it. So it's got that going for it. Otherwise, before I take out the circuit board, that's what the guts look like. Main board, little circuit board there and there for the top buttons that are just connected via ribbon cable. All it is a couple of contact boards for the buttons. And the main cord here, definitely be careful on it, because the wires are pretty thin. I don't know how good they did on soldering. Otherwise, like I said, just one little screw. And got a set of these. They're going to come in handy. I was trying to use a regular Phillips screwdriver, and I'd forgotten that the stupid screw holes on the main game system taper down about halfway into the hole. So it's like I could get it in about that much, and then the rest of the way it wouldn't go for my main screwdriver. So these precision ones come in really handy. You can pick them up at 99 cent only-ish. Anybody's got that freaking store, you know what I'm talking about. The prices are 99 cent-ish. Every time I go to that store, they're jacking them up, man. They're getting greedy. In fact, Dollar Tree's got to change their name too to Dollar Tree-ish, or maybe Golden Dollar Tree. I don't know, because now it's $1.25 for items. That's why everybody's there just buying stuff up every time I go. Otherwise, whatever. Otherwise, see the side of the board, that black dot on it, I'm assuming is a surface mounted chip because there's no pins to the back that go through it. So no frickin' clue other than really frickin' basic there. It's got to be some kind of chip, or why the hell would they cover it up? But that right there, just on how basic it is, tells me that any actual Nintendo branded stuff for the Wii, the only thing I haven't tried is hooking up a nunchuck. I think on the Wii it's I obviously have some nunchucks. I think I have one of the little dual stick ones for playing arcade style games that I haven't tried hooking up. What else? Yeah, that's pretty much it other than my arcade stick. But when I hooked up the arcade stick, not only did I not get any response, and the reason I didn't get a response from it is because however the hell they did that thing on turning it on, the controller completes the circuit to tell the system it's been turned on. When I plugged in something else, all I was getting was a blank screen until I unplugged that and plugged one of these back in. Hence, these have a Nintendo Wii style plug on there for like your nunchuck and whatnot. So, whatever. Otherwise, I'm putting this back in. Like I say, there's a little tiny plastic pin there. Goes to the hole. And then right next to the ribbon cable there, where it connects for one of these, there's another little just notched area there that goes over the other one. So it's kind of, you get it lined up, make sure everything's over there, and then put your screw back in. Have messed around with a ROTFF 2. That's what I'm using for my arcade cabinet, which is just hysterical to me. This big freaking old school arcade cabinet, and the whole thing's powered by a circuit board this big. It's just, I can't get over how small those are. And I've got thousands and thousands of games on it, man. To where if you know how to do it for old school stuff like these, man, ROTFF is the way to go. You can get so many freaking systems on it now. Especially nowadays, being that it's way past the second one. I don't know what they're up to now, but you can get a lot of stuff put on them now. And that just depends on if you're going to have your memory stick, which I'm just doing 64 gigs, and I've got thousands of games on it for old school stuff. Or you can always hook a hard drive up to it. It's portable and just put everything on it. Pretty much the highest mine goes is I stopped at PlayStation 1 games. I got a few of them on it, and they do pretty damn good. And that's on the ROTFF 2, so I'm sure the newer ones do way better. And I did notice they had some of these on Wish after I was done looking at the bondage stuff that they sent me, because, you know, that means something that's important. They figured I needed some bondage stuff in my life. Hence me talking about things you don't want to say, is they freaking have everything. But boy, all you do is just put in just video game system on Wish, and it just tons of stuff, man, tons. And on these little things, they got so freaking many of them, man. All I can say is if you're gonna order one from that site, try and find one that's cheap. On these, don't spend too much, and write down the code number for it or the name of it or whatever, and get on YouTube here and see if somebody else has picked one up and what they think. Because I don't trust sites like that, man. I feel you're really gambling with your money there. Even if the stuff is cheap, you're still making a gamble. So like I say, this one, I gotta mess around with it some more. I picked up another one a couple days ago at Goodwill. Got it for even cheaper, and it's one of the handheld type ones with 500 games. I will be showing that next. Another video. And I was hoping I could use the AV cord off of that on this, but it's got the smaller sized headphone jack, so not going to work. So this one, I don't know if it's that or just the system. The menu on the other one is a little bit better. This one's really generic. So put this away. And I'll show you guys the system opened up. And I think they had some of these. I was mostly finding ones that looked like Nintendo, the original Nintendo front loader, or Super Nintendo, or just the little handhelds. But I think they had some that looked like a Sega Genesis. They got one that I saw. I can't remember if it was one that actually had PlayStation 1 games on it, but it looked like a PlayStation 1. So they pretty much tried to copy everything. And then other ones just outright look weird. Some look like a giant freaking USB memory stick. And those are the ones that just have tons of stuff on them. Otherwise, this, it's 4 screws on the bottom of it. And then, I say, your switches here are connected to some wires. So just kind of carefully open it up. Just lift it off. In fact, I'm just going to flip it to one side here. Tiny. I will take it out. It's only held in by a couple screws, but man, it is freaking tiny. That's the only thing I haven't done is take it out completely. I just opened it up and was like, holy crap, man, there's nothing to it. Like I say, on the controller ports, unless they just outright do it that way for player 1 and 2, say, man, they're just separated. This is just a cover held in by a couple of screws, one on each side, so you just pull that out and then you can just swap them over. Plenty of room on the wire there, so no big deal doing that. And then on top here, yeah, I'm not going to take that out because there's springs and stuff. I don't want anything flying apart otherwise. There's the other board for your power and reset, and then power light. Which the power light's just a little freaking white LED. So, get a screwdriver here. See what's in this little son of a bitch. And, let's see this. Okay. I just noticed something, guys and gals. They've made these damn things to hold different size circuit boards. You'd have to use the same size screws because they're not stripped. But yeah, I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then there's one screw hole that wasn't used to hold down the board. It's only held down with 2 screws. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's at least 8 screw holes to play around with to fit in another board. Otherwise, It's got a little logo of some type. It's a circle, an oval with FHX 1221. No idea there on that. Otherwise, oh. Okay, that's got a blob. This has the blob to the back of the board. But you can see the chip. And it's just numbers, so I have no freaking idea what they're talking about here. Just 2526/64. I think this might be the date. Looks like this was made March 9th of last year. And it's got the little surface mounted microchips all over. But man, just really basic. Really, really basic. Come on, you damn thing. Grab this stupid thing so I don't yank the wires apart. Otherwise, there you go. And then just 3 ports here for plugging in stuff for your 2 controllers, and then the board. So they do plug in. I don't know if you could use that on a Raspberry Pi board or not, but at least they unplug. They're not literally wired into the board permanently. So stuff can be unplugged. It's just, say man, there's no other ports for SD card or anything. So what's on it is what's on it. So man, I do not want to yank these damn wires loose. Let's see. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. It would pretty much just be drilling out the sides or whatever for your ports off the Raspberry Pi. Otherwise, row there, and one right there for screw holes for mounting the board. And then just figure out something else for your controller ports up front. Or I've seen some people where they'll just get a USB cable, short one, and just tack it and wire it in however. But on getting the board in there, I mean, it really doesn't look like you'd have to do too much. There's enough in here to where you shouldn't have to hack away too much of it, where you can just play around and see how it fits. Which, I've got 2 of those Raspberry Pi 2s. My other one that's loose that I'm not using, I don't know where I put the damn thing. But I'm going to see if I can find out where I put the damn thing and see how it would fit in here if I wanted to do that. Because, really, plastic-wise, man, it's decent. It would definitely make a nice freaking ROTFF box. I don't know. I've never rigged up one with on-off switch or anything either. I just flat out hooked it up the way it was, and I just turned the dang thing off via just going through the menu system, or just hit the freaking power switch on my power strip or whatever. But I know you can hook up an actual switch to them, I believe. The new ones might be a little bit easier for that. But yeah, there might be a way to where you can at least use the existing power switch and reset to make it look like a Nintendo still. Otherwise, the ports here, unless you want to use like some freaking arcade sticks or whatever that you'd use for the Nintendo Wii, same thing, man. You might be able to fidget around with the wires. I just don't know how far you can go on those things. So, cool. Now, that is the end of this video. Hopefully that helped you guys out. I'm assuming all the other ones that are like this, and probably the ones that look like the original NES, are the same way, to where it's just a little board, to where it shouldn't be any problem just taking all this stuff out and maybe trying to use existing parts and throw in a freaking ROTFF system. I mean, jeez. Even if you wanted to have a fan for it, hence the top half right here to the back of it has vents. You can even throw a fan in there to keep it cool. Just get a little one and just mount it in the corner or something. So yeah, plenty of room for that. And adding extra stuff to it. So the next one, I have opened it up and kind of taken it apart some. It's a little bit more tricky on trying not to hurt anything on how they put it together. There's nothing that's been glued in. Hence, it's more like a Game Boy style one, but like the little speaker and stuff is just sitting in there. The screen is just sitting there, so nothing's glued down. So if you take apart one of them, be careful. But I'm going to do the same thing with it after I show it. Because you might be able to use the freaking screen off of it and have that running off a little ROTFF. And do the same thing and use existing parts and just get rid of the main circuit board that's in it. So, have a good one, everybody. See you in the next vid.